Well, we finally got the sandblasting done on all the parts and the car itself. Now, what we're doing here is we're removing this rock chip adhesive that was applied at the factory. The sandblaster could not remove that. He didn't bring coarse sand with him. He brought the, what do we call that stuff? The crushed glass, which is basically very hard to remove it. And the owner came over and he says, hey, don't remove that. You need to keep that on there. Okay, I thought we were restoring your car. Guy, I thought we were doing that. He says, what do you mean? I want to keep that. That came from the factory. I'm going to put new shit on there after we paint it, just like I did your other Mercedes. Oh, okay, no problem. Good work, good work, good work. So, on the fenders themselves, we went ahead and sandblasted those inside and out. And if we look right here, you can see these were sandblasted inside and out. And that's why it's very important. If you get a car sandblasted, which this had to be sandblasted, there's no way out of this one. It's best to have the crushed glass system used to do it. On the inside, it didn't remove every single bit of the spray-on undercoating that Mercedes put on here. But once again, that doesn't matter because we're going to be doing that to the car anyway, and it'll all blend in with it. The main thing that I was worried about on sandblasting and getting everything off was basically the bottom of the car. And we can see right here, the bottom of the car came out really nice. It was sandblasted umpteen times. It took these guys 2 days to get this thing sandblasted. And when we tip this car over to restore the bottom of the vehicle and finish it out, I think it's going to come out really, really nice and far and above beyond what Mercedes did to it to make it a rust preventive situation by spraying all that unnecessary, what can we say, seam sealer on it, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to take you through the steps of that as I work on it. We went ahead and had both the hood and the deck lid sandblasted. What you're looking at here is my D.I.Y sander with 80 grit on it. And what I'm doing with that, I am basically sanding down this bare metal, putting a smooth finish on it. I noticed right here that there was extensive body work done to this fender. You can see where all these holes were drilled out, and it goes all the way to here. But these are the fenders we're going to use, so I'll be doing some hammering and dolling and shrink disking on this fender to get it to where I want it so we can get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and finish removing this, and then once these pieces are done, I'll go ahead and flip these over. Of course, I still got to D.I.Y sand the top side of everything, and then we're going to put these all in epoxy primer. We're going to use black on that. The doors, we only have the outside sandblasted. The owner requested that we go ahead and sandblast the inside. We went ahead and did that, and came out very nice. So even on Sunday, we're over here busting ass and chomping knuckles and using grinders and getting arthritis in our shoulders as we continue to work on the 1976 Mercedes Benz Restoration that, in my opinion, shouldn't have been done, but is being done, and is possibly one of the most unusual cars that my friend Pete, SWRC D.I.Y Auto School, has actually completely, totally done a rotisserie concours restoration on in his life.
Welcome to D.I.Y Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Today's the day, the big day. Epoxy primer day on the Nightmare car. As you can see, a nice coat of black epoxy primer. Black is what was originally put on the car, and the customer requested black since that was how it was done at the factory. And as you can see, it's looking really good. We still have a few things to do. Replace this quarter, and a couple of other little spots, but that will be done once it's back on the ground. 80% of the rust has been taken care of, and the other 20% can't be done till it's on the ground. The owner has informed us that the drivetrain is ready to go back in the car. So we will be... sorry, I said that wrong. As you can see, Pete corrected me. The suspension. Yes, this is a unibody car. It doesn't have a frame, so it's different than a framed car, obviously. I know this is a happy day for Pete, because this means we're one day closer to getting it done. Now he's covering everything with epoxy primer. And then he will get the thing on the ground, and then he'll finish out the rust, which is only a few things left to do. The main reason that it can't be done now is because the contraption, the rotisserie, is actually in the way of the panels and the spots he needs to do. Okay, did you see that? What he was doing there, he adjusted the nozzle on his spray tip so that he could spray down inside of there and get that all with a coat of epoxy on it. Okay, and as I'm sure Pete has told y'all before, this is epoxy primer. This is non-sandable primer. And he will be putting minimum at least 2 coats on here. Because this is a sealer. Remember, epoxy primer is a sealer and it is not sandable. And I'm sure somebody's probably wondering about how much sealer does it take to actually do this job. And he is probably going to use at least a gallon and probably 2 quarts, at least. Yeah. Notice how he's got, if you can see, the spray, the fan he's got on the spray. He's got it like that so he can shoot from across the car. Because think about it, it's got all the little angles and lines and curves. You got to get it from both sides and up and down. That way it covers all the way around. And tomorrow, I guarantee there'll be 1 or 2 spots that you miss. Even though he goes at it from every direction. But again, remember, this may be called primer, epoxy primer, but it is actually a sealer. You don't sand it. When you get your car sandblasted, you just can't even imagine how much sand is still in the car when you get it back. And I'm telling you, there is a lot of sand. You can blow and you can use a vacuum, and it's going to take you hours and hours. And what you need to do is try to get the most out of it as you possibly can by using a vacuum and a blower. And obviously, as you can tell, he's concentrating on doing the inside first. And that's because you got to lean up against it, you know? I mean, you got to have some common sense here, people. Do the inside first so you can lean up and lean in and not get it all over yourself.
Okay, I don't know what Minnie was talking about there, but yeah, what we're doing is we're epoxy priming the car. And by doing the epoxy primer, we're not just sealing the car, but this car was sandblasted. I guess, did you tell them that?
Yeah.
And by putting the epoxy primer on it, that's encapsulating the leftover sand, which is not much, into the epoxy primer. So when we go to paint this car, or whatever we got to do, we don't have to worry about sand flying in the car. I'm going to go ahead and apply 2 coats of epoxy on this. We got a situation right here, if Minnie can show everybody. We're not going to epoxy prime this area because this floor has a lot of pinholes from rust. And the only way to fix that, because we can't find the floor, we'll have to fiberglass this section in. And then once we do that, I'll go ahead and put this thing back on over here. And then we'll epoxy prime that from there. But epoxy priming a car like this is a very, very big job. And you got to make sure that you get in all cracks and crevices. You can see right over there where I didn't hit it right. So what I'll do is when I go fill my gun back up, I'll stand from right here and I'll shoot that. And from me using the right air pressure and having my nozzle small, it will literally shoot over there and prime that. I'm going to get this thing done, and hopefully Minnie told you a square deal and not a round, kind of like that. All right.
Not sure what that means.
Well, round, you know, little round pattern. You told them the big story, right?
Oh, yeah.
You gave them the big square picture, not the little round hole.
There you go.
Okay, we got to go. Take it easy, and we're going to be back to look at this when it's all done.
There you go. Mercedes Benz epoxy primer. Yay, yay, yay!
Grab the camera. Alright, so what we're doing here is we are tilting the body back to the side. Now, you saw that we went ahead and epoxy primed all the top of the car. Now, originally this car came, and I want to show everybody, look right here. Alright, this is one of their ingenious, over-exaggerated, what you can call over-engineered situations that Mercedes Benz came up with. And this whole bottom of this car, and if you look in the fender well, they couldn't even get it all off. You can see where it was sprayed on. This is called like spray on, what would we call that? Spray on,
Undercoating.
spray on seam sealer.
Protect it.
It's basically this stuff right here. This is seam sealer. And it was basically this stuff that you're looking at right here. Okay? And what they did is they sprayed the whole bottom of the car. So you can imagine the whole bottom of this car, and even part of the firewall and half of the inside of the car was literally covered with this stuff right here. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and do the other thing, which is what? Minnie the Body Shop Girl.
I just put the Raptor Liner.
Because we already did this, which is that. Now we got to do this, which is this. And before we do all that,
we're going to do this.
well, we got to do this first.
That.
Yeah, that. Right. What we got to do is, if Minnie comes over here, we got a lot of stuff going on this car, okay? It's one of those this, that, and the other things. All right? If you kind of look right here, the floor's in really good shape on this, except for right here in this area. What that consists of is we got to send Minnie the Body Shop Girl over to the store. Maybe my friend Pete will go. She might not get the right thing. We got to get some fiberglass resin and some fiberglass mat to fiberglass this. Now, we're not going to use cloth. You don't ever use fiberglass cloth when it comes to patching this up. The reason we're going to do that is because we can't find a floor. even if we find a parts car, more than likely, it's gonna look like that. And we can already see that this floor, even though this one wasn't a rust bucket, the floor in this is worse than that. So it's either this, that, or the other, and I think we'd better go with the other, which is what?
That?
Fiberglass.
Oh.
So what we're gonna do is we'll fiberglass that in. When we come back, we're gonna work on the other side, which is that, because this is that. So what are you thinking about all this? It's a lot of stuff going on.
Too much of the
We
other.
got a lot of stuff
and
going
not
on. Minnie the body shop, what's going on? Hold on, is this one of your secret fans
No,
calling?
it's your daughter
Okay.
calling me. Oh my goodness, I gotta answer. She never calls me.
All right.
Hello?
Okay, so we got my daughter on the phone with Minnie, and we're not talking about that because we're too busy talking about this. Let me get that fiberglassed up. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll walk you through what we did. Now, remember, we had this whole car sandblasted, so everything has been completely sandblasted down to bare metal, and the repair that we are going to put on this will be an excellent repair, and will cover all the action that we need to make this worthy enough to do that. You know, I'm really getting irritated by this situation. I'm going to show you what's going on here. There we go. We got to turn that radio off. So I'm really getting seriously irritated by the situation that, you know, now you're going to find out why we call this guy Nitpick Norm. And I'm going to show you why. What are you doing over here, dude?
I'm playing.
Why?
Because
What is this?
It's a plug.
For what? I told you I already had it.
I know.
But you're wasting your time. And is that my hammer?
Yes, it's your
Okay.
hammer. Yes,
You know?
and that's your chisel too.
Good. You can finish that out, Norm. Maybe I can put it on eBay and sell it. Maybe someone out there in the world might need one of those, okay? Are you sure you're not just cutting that out with a chisel?
I am,
a wood
but it's
chisel?
separate. It's separate.
So you're using a wood chisel to cut this thing out of there when I told you I already had one.
I know. I heard you.
Okay? You know, why are you doing all this, Norm?
Why not? I'm not doing
Okay,
anything.
come on over here. Let me show you. Come on, nitpicker. Come on. And now you see what's going on over here at the Clown Factory today. Look what we got over here, Norm. We got the Mercedes in black primer. All right, I just got done fiberglassing this in. It's done. And look what I got. I got a brand new one. Brand new one. Okay, look, there's the original. And there's an aftermarket brand new. It's already in. When are you getting a haircut?
I don't know.
You're starting to look hippie now. You used to look 50s, now you're looking 60s.
I am.
Look at him, Eddie. Look at all this hair he's got. He's looking like a San Francisco hippie.
Maybe I'll just keep this new style.
Yeah.
I'll grow a
I'm
mullet.
asking a question. What? You're going to stop now?
Well, yeah,
You're
because
stopping.
you're being a pain in the ass.
You've been out there for 2 hours chiseling it away, and now you're going to
Yeah,
stop?
2 hours.
You're going to stop.
More like 5 minutes.
All right, let me ask you this. How long has he been out there?
About 5 minutes.
No, he hasn't.
We got Mr. Majestic here. Let's see what he has to say about his car over here.
Okay, listen, I've got a guy at the shop.
Okay.
He's waiting on this
On what?
power steering pump.
Okay, you want me to get the power steering pump out like right now?
Please, if you
Okay.
oh, hey. Hello.
Oh, okay, you're not going to bitch now to have camera on. We're Mr. Nice Guy now.
How y'all doing?
Okay, Norm, why don't you make yourself useful, get an impact and a metric socket and get those 3 bolts off.
All right.
All right, he's been bitching and hawing. Mr. Majestic's been bitching and hawing me for, yeah, there's 3 of them up there. Not an impact. Why are you getting an impact
Told me
socket?
to get an
I didn't
impact.
say an impact. I said a socket, Norm, a metric socket.
Didn't he say an
What the fuck? Let me get this done for you, okay? Let me do this.
Run the tape.
Okay, we got Mr. Majestic waiting here. Hang on there, Mr.
I'm
Majestic.
doing what you told me to
Look,
do.
right here, bud. Look.
Dude, I was going to do that. You said get an
I
impact.
did not say impact. We're going to go back and look at that. Okay, Norm, why don't you make yourself useful, get an impact and a metric socket and get those 3 bolts off. Okay, let's see here. That's not the right socket. It's probably a 15.
I said it was a 15.
I don't think you did, Norm.
Run the tape, Pete.
Wow, it looks like I'm the bad guy here.
You are. You also like the airline?
There you go, dude, look. Yeah, get the airline over here. Come on over here, man. We We need you to hold this so it doesn't fall on the ground, please. We got one of these bolts that are... Okay, there's one. If you can hold on to that when I... Hold on. Okay, we got one more in here. Hang on. Grab it! Son of a bitch! Okay, it looks like Minnie got it, but you got it?
Get covered.
Over here.
To get covered in tranny fluid,
There you go.
let it leak out.
But it was a lot heavier than I was expecting it to be.
Minnie the Body Shop Girl, the most liked girl on my YouTube channel. The only girl on my YouTube channel.
I'm gonna go have lunch. I'm starving.
Why?
My job is done.
Are we done?
I'm
Let me
done.
look and see.
I think I'm done.
No, you're not. I told you to cover these extension things up. One on there and one on the bottom. Minnie's starting to follow your lead on this. She's doing half-assed jobs. I don't think you heard that. I don't think he heard that.
I don't think he heard that. Or he's ignoring the one, which is probably more likely that he's ignoring him.
So what we're doing here, Minnie's got the back side. I'm getting the front side. We got this in. This is done. I'll have to finish the trunk floor later. Mr. Majestic's a happy guy. He loves his car. You can see now what's going on here. Look what we got. This is just a real nightmare. It's not a nightmare anymore. The floors are done. Rocker panels are done. The only thing we got to do now is replace that quarter panel up there, the complete quarter panel. We got a few rust spots on this quarter panel to fix. There's a couple sections down here we got to take care of up in this area. And then I think it's ready to do the body work and get this thing painted and out of here. When this thing's done, you'll never even know that this car was actually put together this way. Am I right?
Yeah, it looked like brand new.
It'll look brand new. That's what we want, because Minnie's motto is, the day it leaves is the best day of the whole job. Am I right, Minnie?
Best day ever.
Yeah.
The customer thinks that's
Is that
the
like
best
the best
day.
thing in the world to you?
That's the customer's best day too.
But is that like the best thing in the world to you that can never happen to you? Is the day that the car leaves?
Not ever. I mean, no. Not.
Is that like, you know, the ultimate extreme for you
as
of
far
being
as
happy?
as far as work goes?
Yeah, as far as being happy.
No, as far as work
What's the
goes.
most ultimate thing for you being happy? What is it?
You being asleep and not talking?
We'll let that pass. Thank you very much, Minnie the Body Shop Girl. 1976 Mercedes. Getting done. Okay, what we're about to do here, we got the whole front of it done. Now what we got to do is the bottom. Now what I did is Minnie came, and you see all these holes here? Anywhere that there were threaded holes on it, Minnie went ahead and covered that up. We got some bolts right here. She didn't cover that too good. I went ahead and did that. This is covered because there's a bolt inside there that they got to take off, or a nut, whatever. But we took paper, and what Minnie did is she rolled it up and then stuck it in here, because we don't want that Rhino liner or Raptor liner, whatever we're using here. We don't want that to fill those holes in. So you can even see how precise she got right here, just on these little screw holes here. So she basically covered everything, I guess, huh?
I tried to
Everything's
find
done.
everything that had threads.
All right, so we got it all factory seam sealed, just like from the factory. That's how it was. Got this done. Got the whole bottom done. What we got to do now, because we're starting to get moisture on, it's getting a little, if we leave it like this any longer, it'll get surface rusted. We don't want that. We're going to go ahead and put 3 to 4 coats of Raptor Liner on the bottom of this car.
It needs that many coats?
Yeah. So let's go in there and mix it up and be done with it. Actually, to be honest with you, this back of this panel here and these fender wells get that liner too. This panel here, and then it kind of goes into this area here. So we might do that, I don't know. We got to put some tape right here, Minnie.
I can't really see what you did, because you're
where the seat belts go. The seat belt bolt holes.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you get that done? We're going to get everything mixed up. We're going to come back, and then narrator Minnie's going to give you her 2 cents while my friend Pete does all the work. Go ahead.
And of course, we all know that's a bunch of BS, because Minnie does the majority of most of all the work.
Sure.
All right, let's go see what Pete's doing, because we are doing the bottom of the Mercedes and filter. on the gun. Keeps water out, moisture out of your stuff. And the stuff we're using today is Raptor brand liner. It's the most popular stuff on the market. Everybody uses it. The kit comes with 4 bottles and a thing of hardener, and it's the hardener, of course.
Dummy proof.
Yeah, it's dummy proof.
Mix it all over.
Yeah, the hardener, you split it in 4 amongst the 4 bottles, and there you go. It's got. What Pete failed to tell you, generally speaking, the gun is not included in your kit. So be sure and get the gun too, or you'll be really pissed when you get home and you don't have a gun and you can't spray it. Okay, the first thing you want to do when you get ready to spray, before you spray, is adjust your pattern. The lower the air pressure, the smaller the pattern. The bigger the air pressure, the wider it gets. As you can see, Pete's moving pretty fast. He's got his pressure about medium so that his pattern's not too big because it's a confined area. You want to keep your gun moving all the time, back and forth. And of course, as you can see, be sure and wear proper protection because you don't want to be breathing the fumes from this stuff. Alright, this is going to be a little bit easier for everyone to see. Let me zoom in so y'all get a better look at it. He keeps his gun moving, and as you can see, he does not have his pattern really wide. The working man and the drama queen. Which one is he the most of? Let's all vote on that. Alright, here he goes. Gotta get some height up there so he can be sure and cover every inch of the underneath side. And like I said before, he's got his pressure about medium. That way his pattern isn't too wide because he's doing a fairly enclosed little area right there. Alright, see what he's doing there? He's spraying some inside. And that's just to help with the sound and, of course, keeping moisture out too. Well, as you can see, that was 1 bottle. It doesn't really go that far. And we're going to have to put 2, maybe 3 coats on this big old car. I'm thinking Pete didn't buy enough. But we'll see. Pete can be infuriating, yeah. Alright, well, when he's got a big area like this, it's kind of like painting a car where you're chasing the dry out of it. If you look close, you can really see what I'm talking about. You can see the wet material and on the edge where it's dry. You want it to all be wet. Okay, what is Pete doing? He must have forgot something. Let's go see. Oh, okay, yeah. He's painting the inside of the spare tire holder so that any residual moisture that gathers in there won't cause a rusty situation. All right, it's looking like Pete's got about 1/4 of the bottom of it done. So we will let him stay at it, and we'll be back to see what it looks like when it's all done. All said and done. There we go.
Alright, we went ahead and got this Rhino line now. I put 2 super thick coats on it. I don't think it's going to need any more than that. But this is basically a reproduction of what Mercedes did to the car from the factory. The only difference is we use Y2K Rhino Liner versus 1970 circa spray-on seam sealer. I think the Rhino Liner is going to be a better coating. And I also went ahead and got the bottom of these rockers. There's a body line right there and it's to roll over, so I went ahead and got the bottom of these rockers for him. That I don't think they did that, but we did that to protect the bottom of the car all the way. We still got to replace this quarter panel up here. We got work to do on the tail light panel, and then we got little miscellaneous stuff to do, but as you can see, even in the fender wells, they came out awesome. You don't even know where I replaced anything or what I did, but if you go back into the videos of this vehicle, you're going to look at yourself and you're going to say, man, that is unbelievable. That looks like a chop job, and it's not. Most of the parts that I used on this, except the floors and the rocker panels and a couple inner fender well pieces, I had to make myself. We went ahead and rhino lined the trunk floor. The reason I did that, because if we look at this floor here, 99% of all of the Mercedes are rotted and rusted out. Whether you undercoat them, rhino line them, or whatever you do to them, they always rot out in this area right here. And the reason they do that is because this is where the gas tank area is. The moisture gets in between the gas tank and the floor, and it rots it out. So I went ahead and did a double whammy on the floor, and I rhino lined it top and bottom, capsulized the metal in the rhino liner. There's no way that floor will rust out. We got it fixed, and it's a done deal. Now, the firewall of the car, it actually had that spray-on crap on it. We're not going to do that. We went ahead and changed our mind. We're going to go ahead and paint it and give it a cleaner look. It's unnecessary to put all that on there. You saw what it does. And then, of course, from this line here up, the frame will be painted as well. We're going to go ahead and paint that black. This is where our feet would sit inside the car. So what I did on both sides to protect that, because you're going to get a lot of moisture and wetness in there, I went ahead and rhino lined this area of the floor itself and made sure that wasn't. Another thing that rots out a lot are these brackets. These seat brackets tend to get rusted and rotted. So I went ahead and rhino lined all those so those won't rot out. So I can say that this car is Y2K compatible, and we're pretty much done with it for right now. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to start on the major body work on this while we're waiting on Mr. Majestic to come over and send his guys over here to put the suspension on. And once the suspension on, thank God, this big monstrosity that you see, this thing called a rotisserie, which I hate, because anytime you have to put a car in a rotisserie, that means what?
A lot of extra.
A lot of work. A lot of work. We've been working on this thing. It took us a year. Would you say a year? A year and a half or so, off and on. But I want everybody to get one more look at that floor. You can't even tell that I replaced it. Yeah. If you can get in there, camera girl Minnie, and kind of, get a good angle of that floor.
We've seen it like a bunch
It looks
of times.
original. It looks like it's never been replaced. And this has been a major, major big job. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, doing work to the nightmare and hoping one day the nightmare will be over. Let's go see how this nightmare's going. Come on. Nightmare 2. Come on over here. Not to me, it's not. It's a damn nightmare. I want it out of here. The day it leaves, it'll be a dream. Right now, it's a nightmare. Right, Minnie?
Oh, sorry.
Garrett, Mr. Nitpick Jr. decided to be smartass.
Sorry.
What was that? What went on?
Something was biting my
Oh my gosh.
Hey, it was biting me.
Tell us a little story behind your nightmare, dude. What's going on here, Junior?
Welcome to my nightmare.
Hey, watch that. We might get tagged for copyright.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't
6
do that.
seconds, I think.
Don't do that, please. What's going on with your nightmare? What's up? What do we got here? We got some tangerine green or lemon yellow. What color?
Lemon twist.
Yeah, lemon twist.
Minnie really loves this color for
We
some.
love lemon twist.
Minnie loves this yellow. She said it's the nicest yellow she's ever seen.
Ever.
No, our nitpick guy. Do you see anything on this car that you can nitpick?
Don't give me a minute, I'll find something.
Okay, are you too busy over there?
I'm trying to find nuts and bolts.
Well, let's get it done here. We gotta get this thing out of here. We gotta go. Take it easy. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete over here, working on this nightmare, that nightmare, and this nightmare behind the camera more than anything else. Pete.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.